In a previous video, we talked about the minuscule pay and why salary alone doesn't explain why it's becoming harder to attract the top talents into politics. But pay is only part of the picture. In this video, I want to focus on the other concerns raised by former Prime Minister Goh Chok Tong, particularly the idea that people today are less willing to give back to the society, and that the public scrutiny has made political life unattractive. Just like the pay issue, I think both are often misunderstood. So, let's start with the idea of giving back, aka we first society. This issue is sometimes framed as a problem of attitude, that people today are more self-interested, less civic mind, or less grateful for what society has given them.
A free rider.
I don't think that's the right way to look at it. For many regular people today, daily life is dominated by very practical pressures. Rising living cost, housing, job security, family responsibility. A lot of mental energy is spent simply coping with them. When people are under constant livelihood pressure, they are not willing to give back. They simply don't have the time or mental space to reflect on how society works, or how they themselves have benefit from it. A sense of social obligation usually developed after stability, not during constant strain. This is why I think it's misleading to treat this as a moral or generational issue. To make this clearer, let me give you a concrete example. Recently, Osmond Gold talked about paying millions of dollars in tax every year, and he said something interesting. He has no problem with it at all. In fact, he is comfortable with it. His reason was simple. Earlier in his life, he relied on welfare and food stamps to survive. He understands from direct experience how social support system helped him when he had nothing. So now he's successful, contributing back doesn't feel unfair, it feels reasonable. What matters here is not who he is or whether you agree with everything he says. What matters is when that understanding formed. That perspective didn't come when he was struggling to survive. It came after he reached stability. This tells us something very important. The willingness to give back is not about moral superiority, it's about perspective, and perspective takes time. So, when we observe that many people today seem less interested in social contribution, we are actually observing something else. A society where a large number of people are under sustained pressure, leaving little room for reflection. Now, let's move on to the second issue, public scrutiny. If scrutiny itself were the main problem, then we would expect people to avoid visibility altogether. Yet, we see the opposite. Many people actively seek public platforms. They share opinions online, argue publicly, and build careers around being seen and heard. So, exposure alone cannot be deterrent. The real difference lies in the constraint. In politics, scrutiny comes with the institutional responsibility. A statement is no longer just a personal view. A mistake is no longer easily reversible. Decisions are collective, and the consequences are long-term. Politics doesn't just expose you, it restricts you. For capable individuals who are used to autonomy and flexibility, this loss of agency is a serious cost. And unlike the pay, these costs apply immediately and continuously. This is why describing the problem as over-scrutiny missed the point. It's more accurate to say that politics imposes heavy social and institutional constraints, and that these constraints are concentrated very early in the political career. The important thing is this. Constraints are not fixed. They are shaped by system design. Clearer role boundaries and a more distributed responsibility can reduce personal risk without removing accountability. When we put these issues together, pay, willingness to give back, and a public scrutiny, a pattern becomes clear. None of them are really about greed, fear, or declining values. They are about pressure, loss of autonomy, and timing. The system increasingly asks people to make long-term, irreversible sacrifices at a stage in life when many are still trying to achieve basic stability. So, when capable people hesitate to enter politics, it's not because they lack civic spirit. When people feel secured in their lives, they are more willing to step forward and take responsibility. And in politics, the passion to serve the country has always been the most powerful incentive to govern well.